Hello everyone, Luciano Colos here and welcome to the Facebook Traffic Blueprint. This is a bonus training and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be walking you through the whole process from very beginner until you become an expert in Facebook ads in only one training. This training has been designed for you to watch it, pause it, complete the steps, make progress, and then come back to the training and continue watching and implementing in your business. I'm gonna be walking you through the whole process, as I said, from very beginner until you become an expert. So I think it's gonna be a super valuable asset and a training that you're gonna be using over and over again. So let's get started. First of all, let me tell you how this is gonna go. The training is gonna have three sections. The first section is gonna be the beginner section. It's gonna be the first one where I'm gonna be covering everything that you need to get started with Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Then we're gonna be touching on advanced strategies to run your Facebook ads, and finally expert strategies. This is kind of the long-term implementation of what you need to focus on when you are really looking to scale and invest more into advertising on Facebook and Instagram. So let's get started with the beginner section. And in the beginner section, I'm gonna be covering these things. First, I'm gonna be covering how to set up your business manager account, how to set up your pixels, your tracking, campaign objectives and what they are and how to use them, conversions, audiences, then CVO versus ad set budget, and finally how to launch a new offer using Facebook ads. So the first piece is business manager setup, right? And this is what you need to do when you need to set up your business manager properly. So these are going to be the sub steps that you need to make sure that you have completed in your Facebook business manager, because that is how Facebook is going to recognize you as a legit advertiser. So first you're going to create your business manager account. Then I'm going to show you where to find all the sections within your business manager. And VM is a business manager. Complete your business information, verify your business if that's possible, add your business page and team members to your business manager, complete the business page information, verify the domain, and then set up your payment method. So first of all, you're gonna start by setting up your business manager account. You do that in business.facebook.com. That is how you open a business account on Facebook that will allow you to manage different ad accounts and your whole business from there. So if you don't have that account, pause this video and go create your account in business.facebook.com. And if you have one, now let's continue. Once you have your account, you're gonna see that the interface for the business manager account on Facebook continues changing, and Facebook updates that all the time. So I'm not going to log in into mine. I'm gonna walk you through this in a presentation mode because I don't want you to get lost into my interface and maybe yours one looks a little bit different and then you get lost. What I wanna tell you is that the elements within the business manager, normally they don't change a lot. Maybe Facebook adds new elements or they change the look or add new features, but overall the elements that you need to run your ads remain pretty much the same over the years. And actually they're gonna be the same in other platforms if you are looking to run ads in other sources of traffic as well. And you are going to be finding these elements in those in my interface at least, you see there is a home that's kind of the start of the business manager, and below that there are 9 dots there, kind of a menu thing, and that's where you're gonna find all the elements for your business, or it's gonna be similar to that. And where you see there, I have below those, when I click on those 9 dots, I'm gonna have my shortcuts. Those are things that I normally use, and below that I'm gonna have all the elements that are included in the business manager. So the first one, and more important when you are setting up your account, is gonna be the business settings, like the second arrow that you see there below, and that is how you are going to configure all the things related to your business manager account. So once I click there, the next thing is gonna be you'll see that below the menu in the business settings of your business manager, this is kind of how you set up all the things related to your business manager. You're gonna see all these sub menus like users, accounts, data sources, brand safety, registrations, integrations, payments. The first thing you need to do is to go to business info, and once you find the business information, you see in the red square that well, it's a rectangle, not a square. The red rectangle, you see it says business details. I have already completed all the information for my own business, like the legal name of the business, the address, the business phone, the website, and the tax ID. I have already completed all the information for my own business, and you'll have to do that as well, because in that way Facebook is going to know that you are a real and legit business. And if you don't have this information completed, Facebook might not recognize you as a secure account to run ads. So the more information you give Facebook, Facebook is gonna treat you as a safer advertiser, right? So the next thing you're gonna do, if you can, because sometimes Facebook does not allow you to do that right away, is going to verify your business. And as you see there, that's gonna be within business info as well. And I have already verified my business, and it says verified right there with the green tick. And if you have not that verified, it's gonna probably have something that you can click and send your documentation to Facebook so that they verify. It takes some weeks or some time, but if you have that verified, you have less chances to get your account disabled, right? So stop this video, and if you can, go ahead and complete the information and verify your business, because that way you're gonna be having a business manager that is secure and better. The next thing you're gonna do is, if you already have a Facebook page, so I'm not talking about your Facebook profile, like personal profile, I'm talking about your business page, you need to add that page in your business manager. As you see there, within accounts, I'm still on business settings. You'll go to accounts and then to pages, and you see in number 2 my page is already there. But if that one would not be there, I have to click on add new page, and then I'll be able to add that page because I have control over that page. And then number 4, if you want to add more people into the administration of that page, you can do it there as well. The next step is going to be to add team members. Any team members that you might have that are going to be helping you to run your advertising or to manage your accounts, your reporting, you can add them there. You need to go to users, in business settings, users, then you'll go to people, and you're gonna click on add new people, and they have to be your friends on Facebook. As far as I know, they need to be your friends so that you can find them there and add them to your business manager. And I recommend you to have at least, your partner, or I don't know, your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, your wife, your husband, someone you can add there just in case you lose your access, so that you don't lose access to your business manager. I know very hard stories of people being locked out of this business manager. Then it becomes really, really hard to work with the Facebook support to recover that. So make sure that you have someone there. And again, if you don't have anyone, stop this video now and go do that so that you don't lose your business manager in the future. And once you have those people inside there, you can also add them, as we did in the previous step, into your page, right? Now, after you have that, you'll have to go to your Facebook business page, and this is going to be outside of the business manager. So basically, you need to find your page in your profile. You'll go in your Facebook personal profile, you go to pages, then you'll find your page from where you plan to advertise your business, and you are going to be editing the page information like I did here, so that the page has all the information. Facebook recognizes that as a legit page from a business. You can probably add a link to your website, you can add your mobile phone, your email, and also a link to your privacy policy, so that Facebook recognizes you as a legit advertiser. That is really, really important. So again, pause this video and go complete the information in your page. The next thing is something that most people don't do. So I want you to don't be those people and do it, right? We are back in the business manager, into the business settings. And within the business settings, you need to go to brand safety. And once you are in the brand safety part of the menu, you're gonna go to domains, like number 1 there. And number 2, you are going to be adding the domain to which you are going to be sending your clicks, right? That can be your personal website, it can be your company website, or if you are running a challenge, for instance, a challenge funnel, like myself there, the Ads to Buyers challenge, you can verify that specific domain, and you're gonna click on add. Then Facebook is going to give you a TXT record that you need to add into your register. For instance, if you are using GoDaddy or Namecheap, or even if your domain is hosted in ClickFunnels, you'll have to add that TXT record into the domain, and then you'll come back and you'll verify it on Facebook. And normally it takes a few minutes, but it's really, really quick. And as you see there, once it is verified, Facebook is gonna mark it on green, right, as it is marked there in number 3, and that's gonna help your pixel is gonna be firing quicker, initially at least, and then Facebook is gonna recognize that that domain is yours, that you are not spamming people and things like that. So that's very important. So again, go ahead, verify your domain, pause this video and verify it, because that's an important piece as well. And the last piece of this business manager setup part, which is kind of the boring piece, but it is really, really important to get started, is going to be to set up your payment method. Obviously, you're going to be advertising. Facebook wants to get paid. So make sure that you go to your account settings, and the payment method, you set it up per account, right? I think you can also set up a main payment method for the whole business manager, but then you need to have a payment method per business, per ad account. So as you see there, number one, that's my business manager account. The number two, I go to payment settings. Number three is the name of the ad account, right? So make sure that the ad account, sometimes if you're starting, you only have one, but you could also probably, as you spend more and more, Facebook allows you to create new ad accounts in case that some of them get disabled or something. Number four, I have added there my credit card information, and you should be having yours as well. Otherwise, your ads are not going to run, or if your credit card has some problems, then your ads are gonna get stopped or being disabled. The next part of this beginner section is gonna be the pixel. And the pixel, as you know, it is a piece of code that allows Facebook to collect information on your website. Facebook doesn't have a way to collect information in external properties like your website if the pixel is not properly installed. And in these years, as you know, collecting information, collecting data about your customers, it is really, really important. And this is something that is going to be an asset for your business, and that is why it is so important to have a proper setup of the pixel from the very beginner. So I'm going to be showing you how to set up that, but I want to stress that this is really, really important. And before you do this, the pixel setup, make sure that you have all the previous steps set up, and then the pixel setup is going to be smoother. So these are the pieces that we need to cover here in the pixel setup. Create the pixel, copy the pixel, and paste it into your funnel or website, and then test that your pixel is firing properly, and then use the Facebook Pixel Helper Chrome extension to verify it. So the first thing you're going to do is in those 9 dots that are in the menu, right? You'll need to go to Events Manager. That's where the pixel is hosted. That's where everything related to pixels and data is there. So go to Events Manager, and once you are there, you see there have many pixels. You can create more than one. Obviously, I only create different pixels if I'm working with different types of clients, so that the pixel can be seasoned for that specific type of client. But if you have only one type of client in your business, then you can use only one pixel. And you can create your pixel. I think you can do it there in the green plus that is on the left. And then I have already created one. And after you create that, if you need to grab the code, you are going to go to number 1, click on Add Events, and then number 2, from a new website, because that's going to allow you to copy the code for the pixel, right? So you created the pixel if you don't have one, and if you have one, you need to come here and copy the code. The pixel is going to be exclusive to your account. It's going to have a number, and you see there in the background, this pixel has obviously a name, Prospecting Forward Pixel, and then the number ends in 2258. And if I copy this code, that code is gonna be exclusively for that pixel, right? Then I need to paste that pixel into my funnel, the funnel that I'm gonna be sending the clicks to. It can be your personal website, it can be a specific funnel like a webinar funnel or a challenge funnel or an application funnel, any sort of funnel. You need to paste this pixel there. And the way, if you're using ClickFunnels, the way to do it is you go to the funnel, then you'll click in number 1 in settings. After that, you're gonna find the section that I marked there with number 2, which is called head tracking code, right? And then you are gonna paste the code that you copied from Facebook, and you're gonna paste it here. And then don't forget that you need to go to the end of the funnel and save the settings, because otherwise this pixel is not gonna be saved in your funnel. The next step is gonna be making sure that your pixel is firing properly. This is crucial because we need to make sure that the pixel is firing, otherwise your job is not done. And if you have an ads blocker, you have to pause the ads blocker for your funnel so that you can use this tool that is called Facebook Pixel Helper Chrome extension, that it is pointed there in number 1. I'm using the browser Chrome, and I'm using the browser extension called Facebook Pixel Helper in number 1. And as you see there in number 2, the right number of my pixel is firing with the proper name as well. So make sure if you have more than 1 pixel, make sure that the right pixel number is the one that is firing on this funnel. And then number 3, as you see there, some events are firing there. The page view and the lead event are firing, and actually below that I have a couple of custom conversions that are firing as well. I'm gonna be covering that in the next slides. But the important piece here is that you need to make sure that your pixel is firing, that you see there the page view is in green. That is the thing that you needs to get done here. And if that is not done, pause this video, go do it, and then come back and continue. And the tool that I mentioned that you're gonna be using is the Facebook Pixel Helper Chrome extension. If you go to Google, you can Google it, and it's gonna show up probably in the first place because it's a Chrome extension and it's really, really helpful. The next part of this training is gonna be talking about tracking. And tracking is basically how you measure things on Facebook so that you can really take decisions and understand whether your advertising is working or what things need to be improved. And these are the pieces that we are going to be covering. We're going to be covering installing the pixel event, right, which is kind of the second part of the pixel in individual pages, and then creating custom conversions. So the first part is going to be install the pixel event in individual pages. And the pixel event is a second piece of code, right? In the previous piece, we installed the pixel in the whole funnel. And that means that the pixel is going to be firing in all the pages of the funnel, but it's not going to be giving a specific information about what kind of pages are they to Facebook yet. So in order to have that, we're going to be adding another piece of code that is going to be telling Facebook what does it mean when people land on those pages. So for that, I'm going to be taking this funnel example. Let's say you are running an ad to an opt-in page. From there, you are they opt in, they give you their email information, they go to a checkout page where they need to pay for your product, and then after that they go to an upsell number 2, and after that upsell number 1, upsell number 2, and finally a thank you page. So if that's your funnel, this is an example that allows us to show you how the pixel event works. In the opt-in page, you can fire the pixel event view content, right? If that's a sales page. Then in the checkout page, as they need to opt in the opt-in page, after that, when they land on a checkout page, you can fire the pixel event lead, right? Because they have become a lead. Maybe you send them to your list, right? And then after that, if they purchase your product, you want to fire the pixel event purchase, because that way you can tell Facebook, hey, this person has purchased something. And this is gonna help Facebook to bring you more of initially the people who view your content, and after that, after they have enough of them, probably you're gonna have some leads, and Facebook can optimize per leads, and then after that Facebook can optimize per purchases. And that way you can leverage all the artificial intelligence algorithms and the intelligence that Facebook has in your favor for your business, and bring on more and more people similar to those who have become a lead, who have purchased your products. And you can do a ton of cool stuff, but you need to have the pixel event properly set up for that. So now let's check how to do that. In order to do that, you're going to be installing the pixel event code, which is a second piece of code, a second script that you need to install in individual pages. And for instance, if you want to install a view content event code in the first page, that is the script that you need to write right in your head of that page. Then if it is a lead, that is the code that you need to paste in your checkout page. And if it is a purchase, that is a code that you need to paste in your upsell number 1 after they purchase. And in that case, this is an example for one of my funnels. The product that they were purchasing was a $27 product. And that is why the value is 27 and the currency is US dollars, right? Now, this is how the script is gonna look in your funnel, right? If you are using ClickFunnels, you need to open the specific page where you need to place the script, and then you are going to go on top, it says settings, and after that a menu is gonna show up that is gonna say tracking, and then after that this pop-up is gonna show up, it's gonna say tracking code, and you need to type that code in the header as I did there, right? And in this case it is my second page where I'm firing the Facebook lead event. So what this is doing is that is sending information back to Facebook and telling them that these people who landed here have become a lead, and that way Facebook can optimize my ads and bring me more of those people. And after that, you're gonna be testing that your pixel event is firing properly using Facebook Pixel Helper, the same thing that we did the last time. And if you see there in number 3, the lead event, it is in green in my page, so that means that it's working properly. Now, finally, you need to create custom conversions if you want to track specific things. This is a little bit more advanced if you want to track more things, specific events that happen based on specific rules, because you can be capturing leads in many different pages in your business, but then you might want to optimize campaigns based on specific pages, or you want to be measuring metrics of leads based on specific pages. And when you want to do that, you need to create a custom conversion. Sometimes creating a custom conversion also allows us to make the pixel fire a little bit faster because we have this custom conversion. So you might want to create one. This is going to be in the events manager as well, like right below the pixel you have that blue star, and that is how you create custom conversions. And as you see there in the example, I have a custom conversion I have created for those who become a lead, and I'm marking the lead event and a specific page in my funnel. Now let's talk about campaign objectives. And Facebook has many different campaign objectives, right? And if you have run some ads, maybe you have used, I don't know, conversions or traffic or lead generation, some of them, but Facebook has many more. And you will find them when you click on, you need to go to the ads manager and you need to create a new campaign, and that is how, this is the first pop-up that you are gonna see. Facebook asks you what buying type are you gonna be using. I normally use auction, and then after that you can choose a campaign objective. And the way this works is there are 3 different kind of sections or parts. On the left you have awareness. Below that you're gonna have brand awareness and reach. Those are kind of the more branding pieces, objectives on Facebook. They are normally cheaper per impression. However, they are not the best ones for direct response advertising. After that, you're gonna have consideration, where you're gonna have traffic, which Facebook is gonna bring you those people who are more likely to click on the ads. That does not mean they are gonna convert on your funnel. Below that, you are gonna have engagement, which means people who are more likely to like and share your articles. Below that, app installs are for mobile application ads. Below that, you're gonna have video views, which basically Facebook is gonna be advertising to let people watch your videos. How cool is that? That's awesome. Below that, you have lead generation, which is basically capturing leads on the Facebook platform. You won't need an opt-in page for that. Below that, you have messages, which is basically people sending, clicking there and going to the messenger. You can connect that with follow-up tools such as ManyChat. And then on the right, you're gonna have conversion ads, which are basically the ones that we use the most. Then catalog sales and store traffic are mostly for e-commerces, so we're not gonna be covering that. And normally, if you are starting advertising here on Facebook, maybe you are not an expert yet, you're gonna be using mostly conversion ads. And let me go back here, and I want to say that I also use the most objectives that I use are conversion ads, number 1. Then sometimes I use engagement and video views, and sometimes I've used traffic, lead generation, and messages, and reach as well. So pretty much most of them. However, the number 1 thing I use is conversions. And now these days, you're gonna see in the expert session, sometimes I'm using a 2-step strategy where I use video views and then conversions. But that's more advanced, and you're gonna see that in the expert session, as I said. So conversion ads. Conversion ads basically are to ask Facebook for people who are going to convert on your page. And that conversion can be to opt in on your page, it can be to purchase a product, it can be to view your content, many things that you can ask Facebook to do. So after you've chosen the conversion objective at the campaign level, you have to define which conversion optimization or conversion event you want Facebook to optimize your campaign for. And if you see there, in number one is marking that we are at the ad set level, right? Number two is marking that you need to make sure that the right pixel is set up for this campaign, because that is the pixel that is going to help Facebook optimize this campaign. And number three is the conversion event, right? You need to define what event you want Facebook to convert, to optimize for this campaign. When you are starting on a campaign, sometimes you can use the view content, because that way you can optimize you want many people watching your content initially. After maybe some of them are gonna become leads, or the next step is gonna be to ask Facebook for leads. Sometimes if you have enough budget, you can also ask for leads right away, right? So it really depends on your budget. So it's gonna be view content or leads, or if you are selling a product quickly, like a low ticket product, you can also fire the purchase event. So this is really important. If you have a simple funnel, if you are starting up and you wanna set up a simple funnel, I think the best idea is to use the lead event as a conversion event, so that Facebook is gonna optimize your campaign per lead, right? And one more distinction there, you see there that you have lead, and then I have the ATB lead. The first one is the Facebook pixel event, and the second one is the custom conversion that I set up. And basically, in theory, optimizing by any of those is gonna be the same if I'm sending the traffic to that page, right? If you wanna be safe, just use the lead event and that's gonna be all right. Now, as I was saying, the way I optimize this, when I start with the ad, I normally optimize per view content. If I don't have enough information in my pixel, then maybe after I have, 50 to 100 clicks, I change, and the new campaigns I optimize, or the new ad sets, I optimize them per lead, because Facebook needs 50 conversions to optimize your campaign. So make sure that with the budget that you are using, you are letting Facebook have 50 conversions. And again, it can be 50 conversions of the view content or 50 conversions of the lead. And actually, if you give Facebook even more conversions, it's gonna be even better, right? And as you go, maybe in the future, as you have bigger budgets, you can maybe optimize per purchase, but make sure that still you are having at least 50 purchases per week to optimize the campaigns. This is a big mistake that I see people doing, and make sure that based on your budget, you are giving Facebook at least 50 conversions a week so that Facebook can optimize your campaigns. Now, Facebook wants you to make money, right? So set up everything and make sure that you are giving Facebook all the information that they need so that you can make money and Facebook can optimize you. Facebook is not against you. Sometimes we feel that, but actually Facebook makes the more money when they make you money. So make sure that you have the proper optimization and that your funnel is converting so that you can make money, send the proper information to Facebook, and you can continue running your ads. Now, let's talk about audiences. In the audience section, we're going to be talking about types of audiences, audience size, selecting audiences, and that's going to be it, right? So let's start with the types of audiences. There used to be only 3 types of audiences, and you find them when, again, in the business manager, you need to go to audiences in the menu, and then if you go to create audience, like number 1 marks there, you'll see that you'll have those types of audiences. And the number 2 is saved audiences, which are basically using the audiences that Facebook already has within his or her platform, its platform actually. Number 3 is custom audiences. Those are audiences that Facebook is going to be allowing you to save based on the actions that people like prospects, leads, and customers are taking on your website. Number 4 are lookalike audiences, which are going to be leveraging Facebook AI to build and bring you people that are similar to other people who have already taken action on your website based on the custom audiences. And I'm going to be explaining more of that in depth. And finally, you have the special ad audiences, which are like political ads and other types of ads that are regulated. If you are in that category, you need to mark that. Now let's talk about audience sizes. So the minimum audience size that I use is 50,000 people in an audience. I know some people have used successfully up to a minimum of 20,000, but I think those audiences are too small and they run out really fast. So I prefer to use a minimum of 50,000. Normally, my audiences are like this one, like 200,000 up to 1 million in size, right? Obviously, the audience size is gonna depend on your budget as well at some point. So, those are references, but you can, if you wanna target a small audience, you can start with 50,000, or sometimes, as I said, if it is a local audience, maybe it can be 20,000. If not, try to go bigger. And then as you grow, you can have 200,000 to 1 million in your audiences. The way I select my audiences is, first of all, really understanding my customers, understanding who they are, what they want, and then I have these categories and I go ahead and complete them all so that I can find audiences, pre-existing audiences that are on Facebook, and I can use them to target my ads. So I have these categories like brands, public figures, websites and media, software, books, interests, like broad interests, non-profits, other qualifiers that might qualify them as my audiences, job titles, and age. And I complete those in an Excel file, like a Google Sheet like this one, based on my research, and then I use the audience insights to make sure that those audiences are on Facebook, so that I can make sure that I can target that. That is the way I select my audiences. And again, it's based on my research that I'm not going to be covering here. The research should be done separately. You should know your customers, what do they like, what authors, what books, what brands they like, and then you're going to be using those audiences on Facebook, and you're going to be testing them, right? Now, let's talk about CBO versus ad set budget. This is a feature that has been around for a couple of years now. And basically, when you are selecting your campaign, you'll have the opportunity to define the budget at the ad set level, like on the left, right, where a campaign can have different ad sets with a budget that is different on each of them, right? And each ad set is going to have one or many ads, right? In that way, Facebook is going to be running your ads based on the budget of each ad set, right? Then the other way is the campaign budget optimization, where you will define a budget for the campaign, like this one, in this case, $30 per campaign per day, and you're gonna define different ad sets. And the key here is to have ad sets that are very similar between them, right, in terms of the interests that each audience has within those ad sets. Normally I have each ad set to me is one different audience. That way I can test different audiences. And make sure that if you're using campaign budget optimization, you have a similar size in the audiences of those ad sets. Otherwise, the algorithm could be a little bit messed up. And then Facebook is the one that is going to be deciding and optimizing this campaign, and it's going to be choosing where to send your traffic. Instead of having a specific budget per ad set. So that's an explanation on how campaign budget optimization works, and it's on your preference what you want to use. Both of them work, and it depends on your objective. And this is how you turn on or off your campaign budget optimization. You do it at the campaign level. That is where you do it. You toggle off or on, and that's how you decide it. Now let's talk about this last section in the beginner section of the Facebook traffic blueprint, which is going to be how to launch a new offer, and some comments on that. First of all, the foundation of launching your offer is gonna be having your offer to be compliant, relevant, and congruent. Right? Compliance means that, these days Facebook has huge requirements for you to be compliant in terms of the language you are using, the offer that you have, the website that you are using, and many, many details. So first of all, you need to make sure that you are being compliant and that everything is all right. The way to learn that is by reading the Facebook advertising policy to make sure that you are in compliance with them. The next piece is going to be that you are relevant, that your offer is relevant with the audience that you are pushing that ad to, right? You need to be relevant so that Facebook sees that the activity in your ads is normal or even above average, and it doesn't disable or penalize your ads. And finally, that you are congruent, right, between your ad and your funnel and your next steps, because that way people are going to respond properly to your offer. When you are launching a new offer, you want to start with a proven audience that you know is going to work. You are certain that's going to work for that offer, right? For instance, as an example, you can use the followers of a certain guru aligned with your offer, right? Like everyone who is following, for instance, Russell Brunson is going to be in the digital advertising / funnels space, right? And that way is how you start with a proven audience. Then you want to be testing only one variable at a time so that you can really know how that thing is working and if it needs to be improved. Otherwise, you are going to be running out of cash really, really quick. And then start always with a congruent ad, and if that ad is going to tell you if running cold traffic to that funnel is feasible or not, right? After you have proven the offer, then you can start testing new angles, things that are wider, but start with a congruent ad, with something that is congruent with your funnel, so that you can assess if running cold traffic to that funnel is feasible. And then once you have that converting, you can bring on new and better ads. Okay, we are gonna go with the advanced part of the training now, and you should only be here if you have completed all the steps of the beginner section, right? But if you are advanced, ready to be advanced in Facebook ads, let's go. And in the advanced section, we are going to be covering how to understand the metrics, how to customize your columns so that you can read the proper data, the target KPIs that you should be considering, the optimization, custom audiences, retargeting, lookalike audiences, and budget allocation. So those are going to be all the sections in the advanced piece of this training. And we're going to be starting with understanding the metrics. And these are the metrics that I consider are the most important ones, but obviously it depends on the campaigns and on your goals. You might want to consider other ones outside of these ones as well. But for sure, these are some of the most important ones. First of all, we want to start with the CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, right? That is how much you are paying Facebook per 1,000 impressions. That's one of the metrics that you need to consider. Then you want to have the click-through rate, or CTR, and there are different click-through rates, so I always select the unique click-through rate because I don't care about the same person clicking many times on the same ad. And the click-through rate is very, very important because it's gonna give you an idea if people are clicking on your ads or they don't really care about, and they are not, right? And the baseline click-through rate that I consider to understand if my ads are working or not is around 1%, right? It really depends on the audience and the campaign that you're running, but overall 1% allows me to understand if ads are working or not working at all. And then CPC is the cost per click, basically how much you pay per person who is clicking on your ad. Again, I consider only unique clicks. I don't really care about the same person clicking several times. Cost per landing page view, you want to track it because you want to make sure that you are not losing those prospects from the Facebook platform into your funnel. So you always probably gonna lose some of those clicks into your landing page, but you want to make sure that you are not losing them a lot, right? Then cost per lead, obviously this is actually how I start thinking on my campaigns. This is kind of one of the main metrics that I track. I normally define how much I want to pay per lead, and I build all the other metrics from there. Then cost per action, if you are selling something, the CPA, the action is going to be the purchase, is really, really important. Then if you are doing video views campaigns, you might want to consider the cost per view. Those are kind of the main metrics that I consider. Obviously, depending on the campaign, I consider other ones as well. You might want to customize your columns so that you can check the metrics that you want, as I've done it here on this screen. If you want to start checking your metrics, there is a default. One of the default ones is called performance and clicks. That's kind of from the predefined ones, the most relevant ones for when we're running conversion ads. but I like to define my own ones, and I go there to number 1 where you can check your columns. Then in number 2 you see it says customize your columns. You are gonna be able to customize them there. And as you see in number 3, I actually have saved one of those and I named it RCCB1, and that is the default that I use. And I'm gonna give you the columns that I use in my default one, so that if you want, you can customize yours the same thing I use them. And this is how I do it. So the first one, campaign name, then delivery allows me to understand if the campaign is running or not, the amount spent, how much I am spending by then, the reach is the number of people I reach, the impressions, how many impressions I am paying to Facebook, the frequency is how many times on average people have seen those ads, CTR is the link click-through rate, that is the unique one, and below that you have the click-through rate all, the CPM, the cost per 1,000 impressions, link clicks, then clicks all. The difference is that link clicks are the unique ones, whereas clicks are all the clicks. Then you have CPC, cost per link click, landing page views, and cost per landing page view. Then I have leads, cost per lead, purchases, cost per purchase. Then I use purchase ROAS, which is basically gives me the return on ad spend if I'm selling a product. And then I have checkouts initiated. That's kind of a backup in case that I need to check that as well. I have it there. Cost per checkout initiated, quality ranking, and then engagement side, engagement rate ranking, and conversion rate ranking. Those are basically to understand if my ads are relevant and they have good quality or not. If you want to configure your columns the same way I do it, pause this video now and you go ahead and do that, and then you can save that so that you can have the same one the next time you open your business manager. Now let's talk about target KPIs. Target KPIs is key performance indicators. When you're running ads, you must know them, right? This is a numbers game. If you don't know them, you don't have no chance to win here, right? You do need to know your KPIs, know your numbers. That's really, really, really important. And I'm gonna give you an example for myself. What are kind of the KPIs that I define? I know that if you haven't run ads, this is kind of difficult to know how much you should be paying, and that's why I wanna give you this reference. This is for entrepreneurs in the US, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, speakers, this kind of audience. And I'm gonna be giving you my target KPIs. That doesn't mean that they need to be yours, right? You define your own ones, but I wanna share mine because they might allow you to start understanding how much you're gonna be paying in each of those metrics, and then you can define yours ones for your own business. So in terms of CPM, this changes a lot, but normally I end up paying between 20 and 50. Sometimes I paid between 8 and 10 and 100. And this also changes a lot depending on the campaign objective. So this 20 to 50 is what I would like to pay for conversion ads. Then if you are doing video views, it's a lot cheaper, engagement as well. So this is for conversion ads. Then, as I mentioned before, CTR, the click-through rate, I target above 1%. If I'm not hitting that, I know my ads might need some improvement, my creative need improvement. CPC, cost per click, around 2.2 per click. Obviously, it's gonna depend on the funnel, but that's kind of how the number that I aim for. Then cost per lead, below $10 per lead. That's what I like to pay. I know some people who define this as $6 per lead with the same audience. And also I know some people who have paid on very large campaigns $20 per lead. So how much you can pay depends on your funnel, on your backend offer, and obviously the more you can pay the better, because you can acquire more and more customers. In my case, I define it below 10, and then I see how it goes, and if I can spend more, I spend more, and if not, I stop my campaigns. Then CPA below 70 per purchase obviously depends on many things. So this is kind of a reference. Take it with a grain of salt, because it really depends. This number can be, sometimes 30, sometimes 300, right? It really depends on what you are trying to accomplish on your campaign. And then if you are running a challenge funnel, the cost per challenger in the group, you might wanna select it to below 20. Actually, I'm about to run a campaign, and I reduced that to, I think, 14 or 15. So it really depends on the goal that you have. And then cost per video views, that can be around 4 cents. Some people have paid 1 cent per view, and also it depends on the length of your video. Now, let's talk about optimization, right? How do you know if your ads are good or not? How do you know if they are working, if you should stop them or continue running them? And the way I do it is using the 3x rule. And this is how I run my ads. And the 3x rule is basically that I launch my ads, like, a new campaign with ad sets and ads, and I am going to allow that campaign to run, and each ad set that I have can spend up to 3x the key performance indicator, the KPI, that I have defined for that campaign. For instance, if I define that I want to pay $10 per lead or less than that, then each ad set can spend up to $30 without getting me any leads, and then I'm gonna stop it, right? So if an ad set spends $30 and it hasn't given me any leads, I'm gonna stop it. And then also, as I wanna pay 10, let's say my ad set has spent 30, but I only have 2 leads, so I'm paying 15 per lead instead of 10. Well, I'm gonna run it until it spends 50, and by 50, because I know it takes some time to optimize it, so when it reaches 50, I want that ad set to have at least 5 leads there, right? So that I'm paying $10 per lead or less. That is the 3x rule. Obviously, if you have more budget, you can wait even more and spend more money, but I think 3x, if you are less patient, you can do 2x, but I think it's gonna be harder to find out which audiences are working. So that's why I prefer to use 3x. And that way, I have run this campaign. You can see there I've spent almost $1,000 in ads. When I started, you see the campaigns that are at the bottom. Some of them spend 1 lead $60. You see another one lead 56, another one lead 28. So basically, you see those ad sets are turned off, toggle off, right? You see them, the ones that are in blue on the left, that means they were still running when I stopped this, and then the ones that are off in gray means that I've stopped them. And I've stopped them because I reached the 3x rule, and then those ad sets were not performing as expected. But as I continue getting more and more leads, you see the ones that are in the top, like here, I've been able to get leads under $10 for $7.23, 5 leads on that audience. And that is because I kept launching and testing new ads and new ad sets with different audiences until I reached a point where those initial leads that were 60 or 56, now they were 7 and 23, because I have my audiences nailed down, my ads were converting well, and that's how, in the long run, I can continue running these for less than $10 each. So that's how you optimize your ads. Really, really important to test many different audiences, many different ads, as many as you can, so that you can reduce your costs. Now let's talk about custom audiences. Custom audiences, you are going to find them in the audience piece of the Business Manager. If you click on create audience, number 2 is going to be the custom audience. And what they are, these are audiences that are going to be built within Facebook, but based on actions that people are going to be taking on your website, right? So Facebook is going to allow you to track with the pixel what people who are coming from Facebook are doing in your website, and also in let's say in other things as well, such as you can upload your customer list. You can have, if you are launching video ads, you can build a custom audience of video views as well. You can do engagements on your Facebook page and in your Instagram account and things like that. And let me show you kind of one of the more common examples. This is for people who visited your website. You're going to be building a custom audience. Make sure that you are selecting the right pixel there in number 1. In number 2, you need to select the action that you want to build the custom audience around. And in number 3, you want to select the days where these people were visiting that specific page, right? And this is going to be a custom audience based again on things, on visitors of your page, of your website, and you can reuse that in the future, for instance, for retargeting. That is something I'm going to be covering in a few slides. And this is an example I wanted to show you of a custom audience that is built on the Facebook page. Actually, this is everyone who engaged with my personal page in the past 365 days. I know that they might be interested in my services, and that's why I have built a custom audience so that I can, for instance, launch new ads or build a lookalike based off them. That's something we're going to be checking later. But before that, some of the more common custom audiences are going to be these ones. People who engage with your page in the last 365 days. Obviously, they need to be from the same services. If you're selling different things, they may be different people. Website visitors in the last 15 days, 30 days, 60 and 90 days. Video views of ads, not ads, but videos that you have on Facebook, like 50%, 70% views, 90% video views in the last 365. And actually, you can do it for different dates, like, last 90 days, 180 days, 365 days. Then a custom audience of the leads, 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 and 180. Custom audience of buyers. Obviously, if people have purchased something from you, they are going to be a lot better custom audience because they already gave you money. So it's a lot better indicator that they are more likely to buy more stuff in the future and be similar to other people who might buy in the future from you as well. And then you can import as well your list and your customer list into Facebook so that you can build a custom audience based on that. And one of the ways you might want to do this, there are, I would say, at least two things why you want to have your custom audiences built. The first one is going to be retargeting, and the second one is going to be because you can build lookalikes based off these custom audiences. So let's talk about retargeting. And within retargeting, we are going to be covering retargeting audiences, retargeting ads, and retargeting budget, right? Retargeting audiences, as I was saying before, we use custom audiences to retarget to those people. There is no such a thing like a custom, like a retargeting audience within Facebook. We use custom audiences to retarget people who have taken a previous action on Facebook. Like this one in this case, everyone, this is an example, who engaged with my page in the past 365 days, right? I can, if I'm doing new stuff, I can launch ads to them specifically, and they're gonna see them, and as they already know, like, and trust me, probably, or at least they were visitors on my page, that's some indication that they're interested in what I do. Then I want to launch new ads because they are my warm audience, and I'm going to be doing retargeting ads to them. The best retargeting audiences that I've used and I've seen other people using are 50, 70%, and 95% of video views, that videos that you might have on your page, then landing page views, then the leads, adds to cart, initiate checkout, purchase, and then you can use, this is another comment, you can use different retargeting audiences per periods. Let's say people who have purchased in the last 15 days, in the last 30 days, 60 days, 120 days, the same thing with the leads. And obviously, you are going to be using this depending on what you need to push, what specific message you need to push to your to that specific audience. For instance, if you are doing a retargeting ad for someone to purchase your product, that audience can be the audience of the leads who have already seen your offer, right? You need to make sure that you are pushing your ads to the right retargeting audience. Now let's talk briefly about retargeting ads. These are some of the best retargeting ads that I've seen working on Facebook, and people spending, like, you know, big advertisers, recognized people spending more and more money on these kind of ads. Product image ads, product walkthrough ads, testimonial ads, testimonial carousel ads, and then also top performing ads that are working on cold traffic. You might also want to reuse them with your warm audiences. In the case of product image ads and product walkthrough ads, let's say that you are selling, let me give you an example so that you can understand that. Let's say you are selling a book, and you have an ad for your book. People are gonna click there, they're gonna land on the page, but if they don't purchase your book, you can build a custom audience of people who visited the page but didn't purchase, right? And then you are gonna be using these product image ads and product walkthrough ads, and you are going to create an ad tailored towards those who visited the page but haven't purchased, and you're going to be using that product walkthrough because they already know what your product is, and therefore these ads tend to work really, really well. Now let's talk about retargeting budget. Obviously, it's going to depend on your warm audience size. If you have a huge warm audience, and a small campaign, then you might want to do only retargeting ads. But as you grow and scale, you're going to be launching more cold traffic ads, and then your warm audience is going to be smaller comparing with the cold one. A rule of thumb, normally you want to spend 10 to 15% of the total ad spend on retargeting. Now let's talk about lookalike audiences, because those are really, really cool and people want to do them and use them. I think they are awesome because they allow you to leverage Facebook artificial intelligence for your business, which is awesome. But make sure that you have enough data to build these lookalike audiences, because you kind of need minimum numbers to build lookalike audiences that have good quality, right? As you know, the saying, garbage in, garbage out. Make sure that your lookalike audience is being fed with high quality audiences, so that your lookalike audiences are going to be high quality as well. The way to build a lookalike audience is going to be, again, in the audience manager. You go to create audience, then you're going to click on lookalike audience, and this is going to pop up. And the important thing that you need to know about lookalike audiences is that they are going to be built based off the custom audiences that you created previously. So basically, that's why, first of all, we created custom audiences. For instance, as you see there on the screen, I'm creating custom audiences of leads in the last 90 days, leads in the last 30 days, buyers in the last 30 and 180 days, because I want to use those leads, that information, to build a lookalike audience of people who look similar to those leads in the last 90 days, for instance, right? But I think that you need at least, I would say, 500 people in the audience to build a high quality lookalike audience. Ideally, at least 1,000 or many more. So make sure that, first of all, whoever is going to be included in that custom audience has to be a high quality, prospect, so that your lookalike is going to be useful. And then make sure that you have enough information, enough data in that custom audience. And step number 2 is going to be to select the lookalike audience percentage. It can go from 1% up to 10%. Obviously, the more percentage, the wider you're going to be building your lookalike audience, the less likelihood you'll have that these people are going to be similar to the people who are on the custom audience. But you gotta test it out, and these are some of the best performing lookalike audiences that I've seen working for myself or others. One is lookalike audiences of engaged subscribers. It can be on your page or in your email list. Lookalike of previous buyers. Obviously, that's gonna be an amazing lookalike to test. Lookalike of 90% video views. Lookalike of your web traffic. Lookalike of your page engagement on Facebook. Lookalike of Instagram engagement. So the more commitment those prospects or customers have taken, the better indication, right, of a good audience that they are gonna be. For instance, if they are previous buyers, that's gonna be a lot better than people that only check out your Facebook page, right? So, but you need to test different ones because those audiences are not perfect either. So you need to test several ones, and also you need to test these lookalikes against the set audiences on Facebook so that you can really find what's working best for you. Now let's cover budget allocation. Budget allocation is gonna depend on the size of your warm audience, obviously on the campaign that you are doing, because if your warm audience is enough for what you are doing, you might want to start there because they already know, like, and trust you. However, if you need to expand, then some of that budget will have to go to cold traffic, or if you are just starting up and you don't have a warm audience, most of it is going to be going to cold traffic. I want to give you a rule of thumb because that's kind of how I manage it and the best way to manage it. I think normally you might want to be spending 10 to 15% to brand awareness so that you can continue pushing your brand, getting you known, and build. That is going to be building your warm audience. Then you want to be using 10 to 15% to retargeting ads, and finally 70 to 80% to cold traffic ads, so that you can, grow your list and send those to your funnel. Okay, we have covered the beginner section, the advanced section, and now we're gonna be covering the expert session of the Facebook traffic blueprint. If you haven't completed the previous steps, please, you don't need to watch this right now. You can watch it later, but make sure that you are completing all the previous steps so that you are not getting overwhelmed with all this complexity, because the expert session is something that, you never end refining. You always need to be learning new stuff, things that you want to be implementing in your business. This expert session is gonna be a never-ending thing about running ads, but I want to share it with you because it is really, really important. And here is where it becomes really, really cool, and also where you can use Facebook as a tool to magnify the growth of your business. So let's jump right into it. And in this expert section, I'm going to be covering reverse engineering, other funnels, creatives, and then two-step advertising, and finally scaling, right? These are the 4 points that I'm going to be covering in this expert session. And we are going to be starting with the reverse engineering. And I want to cover this because as you are running ads, you want to be watching what other advertisers are doing as well, because you want to nurture yourself with other ideas, and also you want to actualize yourself with what other people who are crushing it online are doing as well. And when you come up to do your research, you can use the Facebook ads library to watch what other advertisers are doing. And you are going to be looking for different ad angles that are working for them, right? What concepts are they pushing and that are working for them? What copy are they using, right? What claims are they putting out there? What curiosity things are they using? What headlines and different things on the copy? What is the offer in the ad? Things like that. You also want to be understanding what kind of images and videos are working for them. What are the details on those images? Is it a person? It is a product? What colors are they using? Are they using letters on, like, text in the images and videos? What are they using, right? Then what is the offer, not only in the ad but also in the funnel that they are using, if they are doing an opt-in or a webinar or a direct sale to a product? How does the funnel look like and how does it work? And then, finally, I want to make a huge stress that everything is going to be about the details, right? When you are analyzing these big advertisers and trying to understand what it is working for them so that you can use it in your business as well, you need to make sure that you are paying attention to the details, because those are the ones that are going to be making a huge difference for them. Now let's talk about creative. I want to give you a few recommendations, things that I do in my own Facebook campaigns and that you should be doing as well if you are in this expert session. First, obviously, test images and videos. Don't just do images or only videos. You need to be doing both, because depending on the market or depending on the prospects, one or the others are going to be working better for you, or even maybe you can get ads that are working with images and others that are working with videos better. Videos obviously must start with a pattern interrupt. The feeds are crowded with ads and people are getting more and more used to see them every time, so make sure you have a great pattern interrupt at the beginning. Then follow the hook story offer framework. This is something I learned from Russell Brunson. It is very, very good. I see the people who are doing not great in ads, they have some sort of disconnect. They either don't have a hook, or they have disconnection between the hook and the offer, and they are missing the clicks. So make sure that you are following that in your creative and your copy as well. And then you can test, once you are an expert, you can test placement specific ads such as Instagram story ads. That's a good idea. Also optimize your ads per placements, like, specifically for people who use iPhone devices and in the Facebook feeds. That's one of the things that I've done that has allowed me to get great results. And then remember the CTR rule. Like, if your ads are not above 1%, probably you need to get more effort, get more creatives out there, test more things so that you can get that, and that's gonna reduce your cost per click and therefore your cost per lead as well. And then pro tip, test lots and lots of creative. This is really important. These creatives run out really quickly on Facebook and Instagram, so you need to be testing a lot of them. Now let's talk about two-step advertising. The Facebook advertising feeds and the platform has been getting crowded, and it is every time harder to advertise there. It is more expensive, there are more people, more competition. So sometimes we need to don't go right for the lead generation campaign, but spend more time nurturing our prospects, putting our brand out there. And this is why the two-step advertising, sometimes it makes more sense. If your funnel is not tested, you shouldn't be doing this, right? You want to be doing this with a funnel that is tested, that it is working, because it takes more time. It might take some more money initially, but ideally in the long term, this is going to be better. But you need to know that your funnel is going to be working. Otherwise, you might be spending money in the step number 2 and people are never going to convert in step number 2. So step number 1 of the process is you're going to run video views objective ads, right? So basically you're going to do a video on something. You are not pitching anything yet. You are training or sharing something, and you are going to be promoting that with video views so that people watch you teaching them something. And you can have clicks here, but you're not gonna get a ton of leads from this campaign. The goal here is to put your brand out there and to pixel people, so that then in step number 2 you can run conversion ads specifically for the custom audience of people who watch 50, 70% or 90% of the video. and then you are going to invite only those people to take action in your funnel, right? So if they haven't watched the 50%, at least 50% of your videos in step number 1, they will never see your conversion ads that are going to be inviting them to take action on your funnel, whichever your funnel is, right? That is how the two-step advertising process works. So step number 1, as I said, you're gonna set up a video views campaign objective, right? It's gonna be a video. It can have a click or a link or not. It can be only a video as well, but make sure you are doing video views, and you are gonna be paying Facebook per video view, or actually you're gonna be paying Facebook per cost per 1,000 impressions as well, but Facebook is gonna give you an idea of how much you are paying per video views as well, and you will optimize the campaign per through rate, right? Through views, sorry. And step number 2, right? This is going to be the custom audience of people who watch, as you can see there in my red arrow, people who watch 50% of those videos. I built a custom audience on Facebook, and I'm gonna be running conversion ads only to the people who watch those videos 50% or more, and then I can retarget them with this custom audience with an ad inviting them to take action on my funnel. So my audience for the conversion ads is gonna be a lot smaller. I need to spend the money on step number 1 to build this audience and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. But at the end, it's gonna be safer, it's gonna be better, and it might be cheaper as well. And this is how you can grow your funnel and your ad spend in the long run, right? Now, let's talk about scaling, which is gonna be the last piece of this Facebook traffic blueprint training. And before we do that, I wanna talk to you about the Facebook dimensions. Facebook dimensions is something that we need to consider, because you can scale on a specific dimension or on several dimensions, but before that you need to understand what those dimensions are, right? The first dimension, the bigger one, is gonna be the business manager. In the future, when you are being a huge advertiser, you may have more than one business manager for your business, right? Or you might have one per business, right? So that's one dimension. Then you're gonna have another dimension that is the ad account. Facebook allows you to have more than one ad account per business manager. You can, and as you spend more and more on your first ad account, Facebook is gonna allow you to open a second one and a third one, and so on and so forth. Then you can have different fan pages if you have different partners or different companies. You are gonna have different campaigns, that's another dimension. Different ad sets, that's another one. Different ads, obviously. Different audiences, for sure, we've already seen that. Different placements, different conversion objectives, budgets, bid strategies, different countries, and different demographics. And probably there are more, but these are kind of the main dimensions. And these dimensions allow you to scale your advertising efforts, right? You need to find which is the right dimension to scale first, right? But these are all the dimensions that you can use to scale your advertising. Now, let's talk about scaling methods. I'm not going to have slides specifically for each of them, because if you have reached this point, it means that you understand all the previous steps, and therefore you are going to understand my explanation on each of these methods, right? But what you need to know basically is that there are many different methods to scale your budget, your advertising, and I'm gonna be covering some of them the most important ones in my opinion here. So method number one is kind of the simplest one. It's going to be duplicating a winning ad set, right? Let's say you launch a campaign with several ad sets and different ads. You find the ones that are working for that budget, then you can duplicate it into a new campaign and you can raise the budget. That's going to be kind of the first one and most simple one. Method number one, another simple one, is going to be to have new audience interests within a campaign, right? So basically testing new interests to see if the proven ad is performing within a new audience. The method number three is going to be testing lookalike audiences, and you can test them against the interest audiences that are performing well for you, right? You start with interest audiences, and then method number three, you're going to be adding lookalike audiences and test them against the audiences that are working for you. Method number four is going to be creating new ad variations. So meaning you find an ad that is working, is below the KPI for you, and then when it starts drying out, maybe your cost is going up, you might want to try new ad variations so that you can refresh and have a similar ad but a new one, right? Method number five is gonna have new ad angles, right? As I told you, you should start with a congruent ad, and then once that is proven, you can start testing more and more angles that push ads to the same funnel, but coming from a different direction that is gonna be appealing to other segment of people, and also maybe to the same segment but from a new angle. Method number six is gonna be targeting additional countries. That's pretty clear. Let's say your offer is proven in the United States, you can kind of duplicate the same for Canada, UK, and maybe Australia, right? So that's pretty self-explanatory. Method number seven is going to be a decentralized architecture. And this is basically creating a new ad account and duplicating the campaigns that are working into a new ad account so that you can have more than one account running for you. And this is when you are spending big budgets, you might need something like this because there are limits. There are limits on your ad account depending on your business. That is why you might need, for instance, you can run one ad account for cold traffic and another ad account for warm traffic. Or you could also have, if you have different funnels that are working for your business, you can have each ad account being used for each of those different funnels that you are going to be using. If you grow even further, decentralized architecture can mean also having different business managers, completely different business managers working within your company, normally for different projects or normally for different funnels. So those are 7 methods to scale. Obviously, there are complete courses and theories on scaling, but if you are at this point, you know how to do that, and this is for a lot more in-depth conversation, obviously. So my name is Luciano Colos. This has been the Facebook Traffic Blueprint training. I think it has been awesome. I hope you enjoy it, and I think it's gonna be really helpful for you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.